In this video, I'm going to show you how to warm up and cool down more effectively. Stay tuned. Firstly, let's have a look at why the warm up and cool down can be so confusing. Most people think when warming up or cooling down that we're trying to somehow affect the muscle. However, the reality is we're more trying to negotiate with the nervous system. So, if it's running we're about to do, or playing soccer, or kicking balls, or throwing a football, or whatever, we want our warm-up to resemble that. So it prepares the nervous system for what's about to come. Once we understand this principle, certain stretching techniques don't really matter as much, because once we're feeling the stretch, we're probably going to be getting the stretch. But the most important thing is that the nervous system is getting used to what it's about to take on. Same with a cool down. So, for example, if your warm-up is going to be, again, running or playing a game or whatever it is, that we want that warm-up to resemble it. So, for example, if you're going kicking balls, then the warm-up should probably involve kicking a ball. Whereas the cool down, we're trying to prepare for rest. So, our stretches then will be longer holds. So the idea is, in a warm-up, all the stretches are done dynamically, so we're not holding any particular stretch for any longer than 1 or 2 or 3 seconds, whereas in the cool down then we can hold the stretch for much longer, like 10 to 20 to 30 seconds. Now I'm going to share with you a few examples of how we do a warm up or warm down with the calf muscle, hamstring, quads and chest. Okay, so let's say for example we're about to play a soccer match or do a 5k run or even just go hiking for the day, and we want to prepare our calves. But firstly, we have to ask what are our calves about to do and try to give it a little bit of that dosage. So, if the calf in a walk or run is going to be doing a lot of this pumping, we want to get that going in a warm-up. So how do we do it? We'd skip. So any hopping, any movement like this, it's getting that calf ready. So skip and hop. Skip and hop. Skip and hop. Now, let's say we're done our 5k and it's time to do the cool down. What do we do now? We want to get the calves kind of used to being in the resting phase. So we could lean up against the wall, like so, hit our back heel touching the ground, and then using our pelvis to lean forward to increase the stretch down along the calf muscle. And the idea here is we want to hold that stretch anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 seconds. Again, using deep breath and everything to try and calm yourself down into it. Another way to do that is getting into the push-up position. Heel towards the ground, other foot up on top of that heel and pressing down like so. Again, holding for longer. To get in the soleus muscle, we can bend that knee a little bit more to get the lower portion of the calf. And again, for long holds. We can do a bit of a warm up in this position where both feet are on the ground and we're walking it out. As you can see, that's far more dynamic. For a hamstring warm up, we want to do the same thing. Short holds and done dynamically. So one example is I could draw the knee up and kick out. Knee up, kick out. Another way, just swinging the leg back and forth. So getting that height. Take your left hand up, kick with the right. Right hand up, kick with the left. Whereas a cool down with the hamstring, you could go into kind of a touching toes exercise, either one at a time. So bending that back leg, stretching down on this right leg, and holding again for your 10, 20, 30 seconds. Otherwise, getting your foot, placing it up on a ledge, and again, holding into it and leaning into it, and so on. But done with deep breath, done with relaxation, because that's what we're about to do in our cool down. For the quads, same principle. For a warm up, I can grab my heel up my bum, but I don't want to be holding it for very long. I want to grab it, maybe hold it for a second or two, grab, hold for a second or two. Whereas when I'm cooling down and finish my run or my game, I can hold that for, again, 10, 20, 30, whatever many seconds. Try not to fall over. If your balance needs work on your balance or hold on to something. For the pec muscles, I'm going to do the same thing. If I want to warm up, I want to stretch them dynamically. Just a bit of understanding with the pec, we have upper, middle, lower fibres. The way that looks, that's upper fibres, middle and lower. It's a little bit mixed around. So how could I do a warm-up like this? Twisting out the hands, going back and forth. If I'm doing something like this, I can work those different angles to get the different fibres. So work in the middle, and work on top. Okay, now we finished our run or our rough and tumble or whatever it is we were doing, we can go into a more cool down exercise. So I could find the wall, again using my fibre, so I'm going to say I'm going to get the middle fibres here, and then off the wall, twist the body away, opening up the chest. Again, because I'm about to get into rest, I can use deep breathing to try and calm my nervous system and stay here for 10, 20, 30 seconds, working through different fibres on both sides. Twisting the body away. So there you have it. That's the warm-up and warm-down principle in a nutshell. It's pretty simple once you understand the principle behind what we're trying to do. After that point, the technique, don't worry too much about it, because if you're feeling the stretch, you're probably stretching it.